and welcome to Talk a Good Game, where we're going to be reviewing the Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 3. Earlier in the summer we were told be careful what you wish for, and we answered that, well the fans did, at the end of the game when they were singing Are You Watching Allardyce? It just sums up our life so far under Bilic. I am Redhammer from Hammer's Chat, and I have two other Hammer's Chat members with me who you will recognise by now. First of all, I've got Gonzo. Hello Gonzo.
Hello sir, you okay?
I'm more than okay, yourself?
Touch of man flu, but I should be alright for the 15-minute podcast.
Oh well, thanks for braving that and coming on. And I've also got Charlie with me, also known as Kingdom of Wham on the forum. Good evening, Charlie.
Hello, you alright?
Yeah, I've just told Gonzo I'm fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you again, it's a
I'm not fine, Charlie.
You need to listen a bit more, Charlie, for this kind of show, right?
Listen, just because I'm polite and you're not, okay, let's not, yeah.
But anyway, let's crack on. The game kicked into life pretty early on. I think it was quite a end-to-end game, but then we finally made the breakthrough, and what a pass move it was. There were 7 passes in total, as you can see with the image on your screen, the players involved. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on that? Is that the new style we're coming used to at West Ham this season, with that passing move with Jenkinson slotting it in?
Yeah, I don't know where he came from. I was surprised to see him up there finishing the move, actually. But there's definitely been a new style implemented, and I just don't think you can get away with having players like Payet and Lanzini and Moses and Noble and guys like that. Even Coyote doesn't launch it in the air. I think when you've got players like that on the pitch, I think you can really only play one way, and particularly when you're not playing with an out-and-out target man up front. I think that's the way you've got to play.
Yeah, well, we'll come on to our style of play later on. Charlie, Jenkinson didn't take long to undo his good work, did he? Literally a minute later, penalty. I don't think there was any arguments about that, was there?
I'm not 100% certain it was a penalty, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't like, I'm not saying it was a dive or it wasn't like, oh my god, it was incredible, but Dwight Gale doesn't go for the ball. He goes directly towards Jenkinson, and Jenkinson has to stretch to try and get to the ball before Dwight Gale runs into him. So I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty, but it wasn't the most obvious thing I've ever seen in my life.
No, it's a good piece of attacking play, I think. The striker seen Jenkinson come in, thought, if I stand here, you're going to plough into the back of me. Thank you very much. He stood there, and Jenkinson ploughed into the back of him. We'll talk about... Gonzo, you said the referee does not matter in our last show. We'll come on to him a bit more, but do you think making the retake was the right thing? It was a wee discussion on the forum about the retakes. Where do you stand on the retakes in general and penalties?
Do you know what? I'd never given it any thought, but then Herbie Hammer on the forum said, I don't know why they're given a retake for encroachment. The moment somebody encroaches, they've basically broken the rules, so the penalty should then be null and void. They should have one chance, everybody stays outside the area. If they encroach, that's it, no penalty. And I don't know, I quite like the idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Charlie, do you think that Jenkinson moment, scoring and then giving away the penalty, sums him, and I suppose, Creswell's season's up so far?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they've both been a bit up and down. But I think they were relatively good today. I think they were both very, very tight on Balassi and Zaha, which is what they needed to be, because they're just so quick. And you give them any time and space on the ball, and they will do you every time. So I thought they were good, but they have both been up and down all season, and the fact that Jenkinson managed to do that within a minute or two was pretty incredible.
Even by his standards.
Yeah.
Hammer's Chat put a £10 bet on earlier today on both teams to score in this. So at this moment, bam, both teams have scored, money was in. What we're going to do is roll the winnings on to next week, and if that wins, we're going to keep rolling the winnings on and hopefully hit £1,000. And if we do, we're going to give some of the money away, some of the money to the forum and some of the money to Dylan Tombida's Foundation. So make sure you keep a check on our social network feeds and our forum of how you can get your hands on the cash and what the bet is next weekend as well. Substitution time, Gonzo. Game changer, do you think, the subs? You were quite impressed by Bilic's subs, weren't you?
Once we scored the second goal, I thought Moses needed to come off, because I thought he was sort of blowing hot and cold as he does, and there was a lot more cold than hot. However, when it was a strange one, I thought not taking Noble off, but taking Nolan off for Carroll. But do you know what? He took a gamble and he put an extra attacker on, and that's something we were complaining about last season. Allardyce never did that, but when Moses came off, I thought, hold on, where's the width coming from to get the crossover to Carroll? So it then took the additional substitution of Zarate coming on, who eventually got down and was able to put the ball over, which led to the second goal.
Charlie, what was your views on that? For me, anyway, Bilic so far, some of the subs he's made, and I include this game actually, some of the subs he's made, I do sit here thinking, what? Like, why are you doing that sub? And it's been the case for various games this season. I still remember City when we're holding on to a lead, he's bringing on Jelavic and Antonio. And I'm thinking, what's happening here? And at Norwich, again, very similar. We took off our wingers and put Andy Carroll on. I thought, well, there's something's not quite right here. But it seems to work. He's getting away with it so far. Do you think it's just tactical genius, Charlie, or do you think he's maybe winging it a wee bit so far? Or what's your thoughts on the subs?
Maybe I wouldn't go as far as tactical genius. He's not Sam Allardyce, but I think we haven't got that many defensive people to bring on that often, and I think it's difficult because a lot of the time, like you said, the Jelavic one, I was super confused by at City until I saw Jelavic was standing in the box just with his arms stretched out, stopping Wilfred Boney from moving, and then all of a sudden it made sense. It was a lot like bringing on Jedinak today to deal with Carroll. It was sort of just a direct stopping sub, and the thing that frustrated me today was that when he brought Zarate on, he brought him on the right-hand side and then left Payet on the left. And so we were playing 4-4-2. What that meant was Zarate's always going to try and cut inside and create a chance from doing that. And Payet's not left-footed. And we've just brought on Andy Carroll, who's amazing in the air. So why not put Payet on the right where he can put balls in all day long, first time, and then just leave Zarate to cut in at least onto his stronger foot? Because how many times do we see Zarate cut in from the right and try to shoot with his left foot? Like, that was never going to work. That was the bit that confused me today, and I still can't figure out why he did that. But
it did
changed
work.
It.
Yeah, I'm going to say it did work.
I don't know if it worked. Yeah, this is the thing. The one time. My point is literally the one time where Zarate did anything good was when he crossed the ball in. Every other time he was cutting in and trying to shoot. Payet probably could have got into that position either side he was on, but it works. But I just didn't get it, and I still don't understand it 100%. But
well, let us know what you viewers think, because we're confused. Me and Charlie are confused anyway. It's almost like Bilic is winging the subs and it's just getting off with it. Pop onto the forum at hammerschat.com, or for the first time we're going to ask you is comment below. One thing we've never done on the forums on these videos is reply to your comments. I'm going to make an effort to actually bother to come and reply this week. But the forum as well, hammerschat.com, you'll get plenty of replies on there. But remember to subscribe for our next few shows. But moving on, right at the death, Lanzini bang, and then not long after, Payet scored 3-1. Gonzo, were you getting a bit worried? Do you think we mugged them off a little bit, or was it a deserved win for us in the end?
I was watching it, and at the point when it was 1-1, I thought to myself, this is still a good result. To go away from home and get a point is a very good result. There's a lot of teams are going to go to Selhurst Park this season, and they're going to get turned over. I really do think that, regardless, I know you're going to talk about Gale in a second, but even though it was against 10 men, I felt that sort of hindered us a little bit, because before that we were breaking and countering. They stopped pressurising us at that point and stopped leaving gaps, so we were then forced to break them down. Maybe we did mug them a little bit, but we still looked dangerous before that happened. And well, I just think it's a tremendous result. I don't know what Arsenal's subsequent result has put them in the league, but we were third earlier. What, we fourth now? Maybe it's amazing, really.
Yeah, Arsenal won 3-0. Just what do you think about Charlie? What do you think about that? Do you think we mugged them off? Deserved winners?
Oh, we deserved the win. Like, you look at the stats, we had like 3 times the amount of shots they did. The second half, they obviously shut up shop and had about, none of their attacks were particularly dangerous. There were a few times where they had Sacco and Yannick Bolasie were really pushing up, but they really were few and far between. For the vast majority of the game, it was just the first majority of the second half, was just us trying to find a way through. And they defended brilliantly, like we did against City. They were really, really good defensively. But we were deserved winners. I don't think anyone could argue that point, really.
Yeah, I think they tried to Sam Allardyce us in the second half, which was quite ironic. They thought Alan Pardew went and read Sam Allardyce's new autobiography and tried to get some defensive lessons very quickly at half time, I think, and it almost worked, to be fair. The game changer, the real one, though, was the red card. I don't think he can have any complaints. Do you think, Charlie? Do you think Dwight Gale could have any complaints about that red card?
Nah.
It was
none.
Good tackle. It was very similar to the Sunderland one. As Gonzo said, well, Gonzo, I'm going to ask you, do you think Matt Clattenburg affected this game then?
Don't think he got many decisions wrong at all. No, you don't want a referee to affect a game. You know, you don't want to talk about a referee afterwards. I thought we got all the major decisions right. I thought the Jenkinson penalty was right. I think the Gale sending off was right. I felt, funny enough, I actually felt a little bit sorry for him, because normally you see a lot of these players and they front up and they get in the referee's face, but the boy was clearly embarrassed. I think Connor Wickham's out injured, and he knew it was probably his one chance to impress Pardew, who tried to sell into Bristol Rovers earlier on, and he had his shirt up like that, and he was ashamed that he was disgusted with himself, but he was a silly boy to make the tackle. So there you go.
Yeah, now he knows what we were all doing last season, watching West Ham. Yeah. I think we all sat like that last season. But I think what was worse for him was the fact that the tunnels down in the corners were a really long walk to do it. So it wasn't like he could just quickly nip down the tunnel. He had a walk of shame almost to do. So I felt a bit sorry for him as well. We do have a new feature on hammerschat.com, which is the player ratings. You can go into the hammerschat.com and find it. It's under stats, player ratings. Give us your player ratings for everyone. And currently Lanzini's well out in front. But just behind him is James Collins. We tried to ship him out. You've just talked about Dwight Gale trying to get off by Crystal Palace. We tried to do it to James Collins, and he came in. I think he played through the pain barrier big time in the second half. He was major struggling then, and he's not the type of person to wince at anything. Gonzo, has he... I suppose January, if there was one player we thought would go up to Sunderland, James Collins, or maybe Joey O'Brien if they wanted him. But James Collins is probably high on Allardyce's list. Do you think he's maybe put down a claim that says, I've still got a lot to offer West Ham here?
Well, he's an unsung West Ham hero, really. I hate the phrase, people never let anyone down, because it suggests they don't excel. But he really hasn't let us down at any point. And there was, when we brought in Ogbonna, there was a lot of argument, do we need this many centre backs? And you could say the same about Obiang or Song coming in or whatever. Actually, it shows the depth of squad. And you look, Reed's dropped out. Can you imagine if Tompkins was playing at right back? We really need this squad, and it just shows you need a couple of players in every position. So hopefully we'll just keep him. If he's happy to stay and play a squad role, then good on him. I like James Collins.
I thought he was fantastic today. Didn't put wrong, but I think he had it easy in the second half. I don't think Palace really capitalised on their pace enough against James Collins, because the space was there for them, and they tried a couple of times, but the passes were overhit and stuff. Before I ask you the big question, Charlie, Chelsea next week. We'll get Gonzo's view later this week about it, as well as my own. Charlie, what's your view? Are you confident we can beat Chelsea now?
I'm confident we've got a shout at actually attempting it. I don't know. It really depends. It's like someone on Twitter today, I can't remember who it was, said we've just got to hope Ivanovic is back for the game, which I think says a lot. I think we can really attack. I think their defences look shaky at times for obvious reasons, and I think on our day we can capitalise on that. But we also make a lot of defensive mistakes, and we made a few again today. And I think Chelsea will pounce on that. We'll see. They've rested Hazard for us, so we'll see what happens. Yeah,
well, join us during the week where you'll get mine, Gonzo's, and other viewers' thoughts on the Chelsea game, but you can subscribe and get that straight to your feed. Big question time, boys. Charlie, man of match, please.
Lanzini.
Gonzo, man of match, please.
Yeah, Lanzini, third game in a row for me.
Lanzini for me. Let us know your man of match. Pop on the forum, comment below, give us your thoughts. We've been talking good game from Hammer's Chat. Thank you very much for watching. Charlie, good night.
Night, bye.
Gonzo, until next time, see you later.
Good night all.
It was good night from me.